Hey everyone, Little Bros are live. We're super excited to be joining our friends at the Bull Group who did all of our engineering and designing for our product. We're gonna real quickly invite them. Let's see. Let's see, we are waiting on our friend Chris, who will be joining. Hi, Kurt. Kurt, who is also joining us, just joined. Hey, Kurt. Bulk group. Okay. Chris, I see you. Okay, we're going live with Chris.
Made
Chris!
it. Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm jealous of the little Burros hat. I need
Oh,
one of those pronto.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I know it's like a blending in with the wall here, but gotta
No, it,
rep.
it it makes the logo and the brim pop even more. I love it.
It's so nice to meet you, actually. This is
You as
our first
well.
time meeting, which is
Right.
crazy.
It is very crazy. Hopefully we can work together again at some point. Um, and it's been great to dive back into the process a little bit. Just appreciate you reaching out and giving us a little reason to go back and look at the work that we did.
Yeah, absolutely. So the genesis of this Instagram Live is after we went on Shark Tank, the Little Bros got inundated with emails of entrepreneurs just like us who were asking about the process of taking your idea and your concept into market, but also onto shelves, which is a whole nother process, not just being e-commerce, but being shelf ready.
Yep.
So I took a couple of their questions and I have them ready to ask you. So
Awesome.
I'm going to dive right in. Is that
Let's do
okay?
it. Absolutely.
Okay. So basically, when we came to you guys, we were just like a lot of these people. We just had an idea and we needed your guys' help to design a product. We found out about you because we did our research and we have a Thorson construction company, a construction background in our family, and we saw you guys had worked with Cobalt tools, and we love Cobalt tools. We think they're quality made, innovative tools. So that's how we found you and reached out to you guys. And when we did, we found out you've worked with some like pretty legendary brands. So give us a background.
Yeah, absolutely happy to. Well, yeah, we've worked with a ton of different companies, including Lowe's. We've done quite a bit of work with Lowe's and brands and products inside of Lowe's, as well as companies like Coca-Cola, Herman Miller, GE, IBM, Rubbermaid, Maytag, Izod. We don't get bored. We're all over the spectrum as far as things go, and we've worked with so many different others. But I mean, those are sort of the big names. People know them. We talk about them for that reason. But it's really, we work with all kinds of companies, and it's not really about necessarily the size of the company. It's really about the type of work that we're going to do for them, and that's kind of what makes a project a good fit for us. So, as you know, but others might not, we consider ourselves a design innovation firm, and you'll meet even more of us. But we've got a great team of designers, strategists, researchers, and engineers, and we're all focused on this people-centered design thinking process, which allows us to do product design and engineering, brand strategy and communications, designing digital experiences, as well as things like service design. And so someone may come to us for one thing, and then you figure out that we do so much more, and that's kind of how it starts. But at the beginning of these projects, we might be starting with nothing. We might be trying to rethink or restart. But whenever we can be involved with the strategy and really wrapping our heads around what you're trying to do and how you can move forward, that's when it becomes a really good fit for us.
I mean, I've seen some of the products you guys have worked on as far as not even just design and building a brand, but innovative, like a biodegradable USB plug.
Right?
Whoa, whoa. How
Like I
it
said,
doesn't degrade in the computer is beyond me, but you guys
I know.
think of it all. So you guys are so impressive, and like we love working with you. So
Well, thank you.
all
Thanks for
right,
the
let
kind
me
words.
jump to this second question. Back to branding. We built out a brand and we went through dozens of different donkeys and burros. So if you participated in our Instagram quiz today, we said over under 20 different donkeys. It was over. It was 27.
Yes.
So we looked at everything from the different ears, the different fonts, the different colors, basically an extensive logo study. So for people who want to build their own brand, can you break down all the different components that landed us onto making the right Burro logo and kind of give advice to them who are looking to build a logo and a brand?
Absolutely. So where to start? Because that is a huge process, right? Depending on what you're trying to do, whether it be the company logo, the product logo, there's a lot to think about. And as you know, we explored so many different options. I think we sent over some images we can click through, but I've got some printed out here as well, just to give people a picture of it. Some little Burro sneak peeks that you've never seen before. We've got 4 logos here. You can see sort of how things started with this very vertical. You've got some more mountain focused ones. You've got one where the donkey is very centric there. And you've got a little bit of inkling of what might end up as what ended up on your hat there. We've also got some other iterations, more than one donkey here. We've got more of a circular shape. So looking at different typefaces, even down to the way that ear shows up on the donkey. We looked at all kinds of different things. And like I said, this is just a sampling. But what I really think is key for the listeners and folks out there that are trying to move forward on how do I get started with the logo? What do I do at that starting point? We always like to take a step back first, right? We didn't just say, hey, let's go start creating some logos. We had to start someplace. And so it's all about that strategy. How are we going to start this process? What is important that we convey? And as you know, in the process that you guys went through, it's all about finding that brand foundation. Who are we? What do we stand for? What is our purpose? What's our personality? What customer insights do we have? What competitors do we need to be looking at and making sure we're standing apart from? If we're imagining ourselves on the shelf, how do we stand out when we get there? And so all of these things are going through our head, and we sort of put together a brief and where to start. How do we bring that together? And that's where it ends up. And at Bolt Group, when we talk about this people-centered design thinking process, that also means we're getting to know you guys. We're getting to know the client. And that's what's really fun about this logo is because we did that. We asked who you guys are, what you're trying to accomplish. And then we looked at your customers, who they are, what they're trying to accomplish, and looking for ways to position you guys for success. But there's a great backstory to that burro. And you can kind of help me out telling this story, but I believe your father's from a place called New Mexico.
Yes.
And so he grew up at the base of the Little Burro mountain range. And,
Yes.
that's kind of the nemesis of what became your name and what became a huge part of that logo.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we'll get to know who you guys are, and we always want to build some authenticity into a brand. And so if there's something that is a part of you that also works with what you're trying to do with the product, we'll find a way to try to mesh that and help you guys communicate that. And what's great about the burro itself, that little guy, is that, they're hardworking animals, but they're also considered these faithful servants, right? And so when we talk about hardworking beasts of burden, we're also talking about service and how we're always pushing for that to be part of our culture. How can we be servants in what we're creating and what we're doing? And that's been a huge part of your brand, which is what I love so much. And, donkeys can be conveyed in so many different ways, but the burro, it's a very intelligent animal, right? It's very smart. This product is very smart. And so we didn't want him to look silly. We got a serious looking guy here. But he's not so serious that he's boring. Look at that ear. He's got some personality to him.
Yes,
And
the
so,
ears.
yeah.
We kept seeing the pointy ears on all these different burros, and we were like, he doesn't look as friendly as the soft
Right.
ears.
It's those little details that we go through so many iterations and explorations to find the right pick, so to make sure we're conveying what we want to. There's also this sense, you said your dad and your sort of background is in the construction business, and so there's that artisan and craftsmanship nature to that, and so we wanted to convey that in this product as well, and so that wood cut kind of feel to it. And what's important in all of our logos is how are they apply, not only when they're printed out on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, but what is it going to look like when you mold that thing into the product or stick it onto somewhere. And so that's why we start out with the black and white logos, right? That thing needs to work, being able to be stamped out, being able to show up and molded and looking great at all points in time. Before you add those awesome colors to it, it's got to work in that one color to start. And so I think we did a great job at that. We also think through, so from the logo, that's going to dictate sort of how our visual identity shows up, right? So the logo itself kind of leads itself into our iconography and those other visual elements. And so as you can see here, we take some pointers from that logo and start building a visual language around the brand. And so all starting from the brand foundation and building all this meaning into the logo, and then taking that foundation and spreading it out into a larger and broader visual identity, you start to build that system. And that leads into everything that we're doing. But at the same time, we're also working on trying to figure out how do we put this product together. And so all of these things, we're always going back to that strategy deck and making sure that everybody's working on the same page.
Yeah, and I mean, I and our whole family love the logo that you guys came up with. And if you can see, it does have the Burro Mountains. Our Burro Buddy holds the two long handle tools. So we have the crisscross right here. And then we obviously have the banner running through. Something that is super significant to this logo that is really important, I think, for logos, and not too many people pick up on this in the initial process, but you guys did, is the ability to deconstruct your logo. So the deconstruction of this logo is shown in every aspect of our marketing and all of our packaging. So being able to just pull the actual burro and put it on the box and have that be the icon that resembles the logo was significant. And you guys did such a good job with that.
Yeah, we try to build flexibility so that you can maneuver and pivot in any platform, any size, any spatial restrictions, and that's very important. So for the tips out there, start with strategy, and then when you start to build that visual identity, make sure you're giving yourself room to work in small spaces, to work in big spaces, thinking through those production restrictions. Is it going to be, it needs to be working one color. It needs to be able to, if you want to stamp it out onto your product, make sure it's able to do that. And that way, when you get on the shelves and they ask, the customers are asking for something else, you're ready to rumble no matter where you need to go.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much. I think Kurt wants to chime in, right?
Oh, Kurt's here, I guess.
Kurt's here.
Right, let's bring him in.
I saw him pop up, so I'm going to invite Kurt, but we're going to come right back to you, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me real quickly. Kurt. So we're gonna have Kurt join us too from the Bolt Group.
Hey,
Kurt,
Molly.
how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Good to see you.
Oh, your background is so significant. I love this.
Yeah, I'm not in the shop. I'm not in the official workshop today. We're trying to keep our employees safe, so we're working from home when we can. So I thought I'd shoot from the home lab and workshop as another kind of an appropriate thing, because I do actually have some prototypes and stuff if we want to talk about it.
Amazing. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining on. And I have some questions for you too.
Great.
You ready?
Probably not, but let's do it.
Okay, the Burro itself was such a great design, and it fits the 4, 5, and 6, 7 cubic foot wheelbarrows. When we came to you guys, it was just a cardboard prototype. We didn't know that it could fit 4, 5, 6, and 7 cubic foot wheelbarrows. We knew we wanted it to. So can you go through kind of the engineering process in getting that to happen?
Sure. Yeah, and it's we kind of working with you guys. We knew early on that if we could fit on more wheelbarrows, the better, because customers, as great as this product is going to be, customers aren't going to buy a different wheelbarrow just to use it. It needs to work with what they have. So we worked with you guys and just kind of asked that question: what wheelbarrows do our potential customers out there have? What are they using? And as the engineers were challenged to hear that, there's actually quite a variety out there. So it presents a really neat challenge, but we're kind of a team of creative designers and engineers. And when there's a problem like that, it gets us excited. So the way we went about that process, we started by basically purchasing every single one of those wheelbarrows. We focused on the ones you listed, and those were sort of the most common ones. And then we tried to identify where were the things in common. What was there something about, by studying the different designs, was there something common that we could utilize to attach and secure the Burro down to the wheelbarrow? To do that, our engineers had to carefully measure and map and what we call reverse engineer each of these wheelbarrow products. We couldn't just go to the engineers of the wheelbarrows and say, hey, can you give us that design? We had to measure it and build it in CAD ourselves. And then by overlaying the multiple designs together, we could see where there was common space. And once we were able to do that study, we kicked it back to our designers and said, guys and girls, let's come up with some creative ways to attach to this wheelbarrow. We actually generated, several ideas, because you never know which one's really going to work. And then we kind of brought it down into a shop environment like this, and we just started testing. We actually, we made a wooden mock-up of an early prototype concept. I think I sent you a picture. Maybe you could pull up.
I have it. So I'm not able to currently pull it on the screen, but I have my laptop here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna show you from here.
Yeah. Image 5, maybe. The plywood mock-up. So yeah, we built to figure out how to fit this thing onto these wheelbarrows. Like I said, we bought the wheelbarrows, and then once we had some ideas, we just built one of these little Burros, a storage device that's going to snap onto the wheelbarrow. And we built one out of wood because that's a readily available material that we could just kind of hack and manipulate as we learn things. And then we were able to sort of test our different ideas and concepts for attachment on this one wooden prototype. There it is. Thanks, Molly. Yeah, and so it's a little bulky. It's not quite the refined perfection that we see in the product today. We actually, as designers, sometimes we call those Frankenstein models because they look kind of crazy, but there's a lot of science behind it. And it is it's a little bit of a scientific process and a little bit of trial and error. I can even show you, here's a little later in the process, we do more refined prototypes and models. This is a 3D printed. You can see it's kind of boxy. It's an older version of the design. And then when we make these with a 3D printer, we're then able to take it onto the different wheelbarrows and test these features. And we learned that we made some mistakes, or we need to make some adjustments. You can actually see right here, the designers have used a clear piece of plexiglass to simulate a plastic rib, and they're marking with X's where it touches on the 4 cubic foot and where it touches on the 6 cubic foot. So we found that, like I said, that common area where we could come down with one feature and grab onto multiple wheelbarrows, it was a little bit of an aha. And then we just kind of tested it in plastics.
So that feature that you just showed us not only helps it sit on the 4, 5, 6, and 7 cubic foot wheelbarrow, but it can lean it up to a 90-degree angle without coming off.
Yep.
Which is crazy. And so you guys actually entered that into the International Design Awards, and that won 3rd place, bronze, which is like amazing. So we're so grateful for you guys for putting into that effort in, and
well, thank you.
And this is really neat for me because I have only ever seen your guys' final presentation of your findings. I've never really been able to see the ins and outs. So I'm sure everyone's learning just like I am.
Yeah, that was really fun. And I'm really excited that we got that recognition. It's always nice when, as a designer, it's very fulfilling when you can work on a product that not only looks really cool, but works in a new and clever way. So it's bringing real innovation as well as looking like something somebody wants to have. That's like a win-win for designers, and we were very proud about that for sure. Not just, like you said, fitting onto the wheelbarrow, but another kind of fun challenge was figuring out how to hold those long-handled tools. Like you said, going through all the different motions that you do with a wheelbarrow and keeping those tools secured was a really interesting design challenge. And we kind of went about it, I would say, in a similar way. We start by purchasing all the different tools we want to hold. And we've studied them. We learned that there's a range of tool handle diameters that we needed to fit. We came up with a bunch of different ideas, tested a few. We actually made some of the wooden prototypes we made interchangeable arms that we could screw off and screw on different ones so that we could try different ideas to carry the tools. And it's to give you an idea of some of the challenges that we have to think about when we're creating those design concepts. It has to work really easy and intuitively for the user. Most people using a gardening product like this don't expect to have to read an instruction manual. So, and if there is an instruction manual, they're going to ignore it. They're just going to want it to work the way they think it works, and that's what we call intuitive design. And we're always striving for that. And when we try the different concepts, we evaluate and we say which one is the easiest, most intuitive for the user. But then we also have to make sure that it can be achieved in a reasonable cost and in a reasonable manufacturing process. I'm really proud of the design that we came up with to hold the handles because it doesn't involve any additional parts. There's no moving parts. There's no secondary piece that has to snap on because those things end up making things more complicated for the user. They also end up adding cost, and they also end up being things that break down the road. Instead, we came up with a one-piece wedge design with a special material that it grips onto various tool handle sizes really nicely. And I think I actually have, I don't know if you've got that one on hand, image number 2. Sorry, I don't have the cool prints that Chris had. But what we did was, once we had this idea, let's make a wedge shape. So a wedge will capture a large handle tool at the top of the wedge, and a smaller handle tool will go further down in the wedge. But in either case, they get kind of pinched down in. And so we said, what if there was a soft material inside of that wedge that gripped on when you pushed it down into the wedge? So we found some, there it is. We found some McMaster-Carr products, something you could order off of a catalog, a strip of, I think it's like a threshold seal. It's silicone seal to put in a doorway. And we just stapled it into our wooden model and tested it. And we were running off-road and so excited when the handles stayed put, no matter what we put it through. And so it worked out pretty nicely. We really proud of how that one came out.
Yeah, well, we were really proud of it too. We patented those grips themselves. So those grips are like intellectual property for a very long time. And we're excited about that too, that you guys put so much effort into finding the exact diameters, because those tool holders can hold anything from a 1/2 inch diameter up to a 3 inch diameter, which is really a lot of different varied tools. So like a digging bar, and we've even seen people put fishing poles in there and go down and use it for fishing. So we're really grateful you guys put so much effort into finding which tools would fit correctly. So.
Yep. And I remember early on, you guys have really done well in the gardening market. But I do remember early on, with your background in construction, there was always a thought that job sites, DIY folks, and people, working around a job site might want to use this as well. Maybe carrying a bucket, carrying some large sledgehammers. And so we said, we're going to try to fit it all, and let the market tell us who's best suited for this product. So that's why we kept it a really nice range, is to make sure even the toughest, construction guy is going to be able to fit their largest tool into this product.
Yeah, we've seen some 2x4s go in the side even. So you guys did a phenomenal job at that. I just real quickly want to, there was a question here. What kind of research is involved in the design process?
Oh yeah, good question. We actually, as Chris alluded to, we focus our design efforts on the user of the product and understanding their needs. And so we have kind of a whole tool set of ways we can reach out and engage with product users to learn about their needs. Of course, in addition to the needs of the stakeholder, the company, the investors, the retailer, but the user comes first for us. It starts sometimes with ethnography or primary research, where we're talking to potential users, visiting. If in this case, we could go to a gardening club, we could go to a DIY crafting club, and just talk to different potential users and learn what kind of needs they have, what are their frustrations. We would certainly want to ask them what wheelbarrow they've got in their garage, so that we can make sure our product fits down. So that's kind of upfront research that we would do, user research. Through that process, we gain insights that lead to ideas. Not all of them make it into the final product, but hopefully something good comes out. And then later in the process, as we're starting to build prototypes, starting to test out these ideas, we want to stay in touch with the user during that process as well. And we call that kind of validation research, where we're going back and showing ideas and concepts to customers, maybe letting them try a prototype to potential users. And the fun thing about a gardening product like this is it doesn't have to be a really expensive research effort where you recruit people nationwide and worldwide. Molly, with your family, your friends and family network, and our friends and family network, we were able to do some really cost-effective, validation research by just letting our friends and family who are gardeners try the product and tell us what they think, and then go back and improve the design.
Yeah, and we did the same with the construction business as well. And I think Dad's on here. We were seeing men in the construction business use the wheelbarrow to cut their pieces of plywood. So obviously with the original little burrow, you guys incorporated a sawhorse to put on top of your wheelbarrow with the original little burrow. So we definitely tested that out too with the team and everyone in the construction business, and it was well received. So
yeah,
we loved it.
Fun little hidden feature.
Yes. Okay. Well, I have a few more questions for Chris, so I think I'm gonna bring Chris back on here. Thanks, Kurt. We're coming back to you.
All right, I'll drop down to the chat.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna look for Chris. Chris.
Oh man, I was enjoying
back.
listening to Kurt. It is awesome to work with these crazy creative people that are coming up with stuff I would never think of on my side. So I like listening to them too.
Well, it's neat to see the design and the branding process kind of blend themselves together. When Kurt was saying we were testing out who the users would be, we also use that same process to go through the brand. Yep. And who's our demographic, who's going to be using this, and how can we appeal to them. So it's neat to see how woven the branding and the engineering and the designing of the product is. And that's why we need a team like you who can do everything in-house all at once.
Yeah, it is pretty great. The process and the people here, I enjoy quite a bit as well.
Good. We love the team. I see Jamie, day one. Okay, so I'm going to go back to some of the questions we've been getting asked by people as far as bringing a product from concept to shelf. Well, okay. From concept to product to shelf. So, okay, a lot of people think the process is pretty much production to store shelves. In reality, the process usually involves a lot of trade shows where buyers walk the floor to see new products. You guys actually built our trade show booth that we still use today, and it was a game changer for us to have a standout booth. Can you speak on why trade show booths are so important and a little about what you suggest for new products wanting to get noticed at trade shows?
Yeah. So trade show booths are always a great opportunity, no matter what. But I think in your case, in the case that you're talking about, that initial trade show booth, just to set the context, you guys have done so much work and invested so much, funds and time into getting this right. And so on our end, we're feeling the pressure to make sure that you guys are able to show up and show that hard work to the best ability that we can, right? So it was important to us to make sure that you were able to portray all of that you've put into it, but it's also in general just a great opportunity. And so the great opportunity that we're talking about is these you have the opportunity to meet people that can put you on the shelf, right? So unlike at the shelf, you have so much space there to tell your story. But when you're on the trade show floor, you have your space and you can do whatever you want for the most part to tell your story. And that is a great opportunity to position yourself, to meet people, and to get them excited, so that when you do make the ask or go along with further conversations, they have a sense of who you are, what your personality, what you bring to the table, and how organized and well put together you were at that trade show. And so, being able to portray that is key, absolutely. I think what we helped you out with was, from when people are, there's a ton of people at these things, right? Not so much right now at COVID, we're doing the virtual thing, but generally, and at that time, you've got a lot of people on the trade show floor, and you've got to capture some attention. And so, using our experience with, what is usually trade show floors look like, you usually see a lot of booths that are everything's posted on the wall. There's just too much going on. And so having a breath of air, some clarity around your booth was very key in the way you guys communicated. So having this big, logo monolith with a well-lit logo. So the first thing you're seeing is that little Burro sign, some printed banners that you guys can change out further on in the future, but for that first presentation, all the information that you need there. And then I think you guys were awesome in wearing green t-shirts, and I hear you had some green glasses or something like that.
We actually had the Volt Green Nike shoes, and our family's massive, and we all went one year, and there were like 11 of us. We looked like little ants walking around the trade show. It was actually awesome.
So how'd you guys pick that out? Were you the person putting that together, or?
Yes, I was like, I don't want to get lost. I love knowing where my people are. So everyone's going to be wearing the highlighting shoes. That way I can find my mom if she gets lost somewhere down there. Just the lady with the shoes. But yeah, we loved, obviously, when picking the colors and the branding, we loved the Seattle Seahawks. And we still love the Seattle Seahawks. We're from DC, but I don't know. Russell Wilson went to Richmond. He had some time in Richmond, and we love Russell Wilson. Anyways, so the branding.
Congratulations on the game last night. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and the new baby for Russell Wilson. Anyways, that's a whole another time. But yeah, so we love the Seahawks colors. They won the Super Bowl that year, and we constantly were seeing the bright green, the blue, everywhere. And we knew that it was going to start catching on. So we bought up a lot of these different colors. And actually, the next year at the trade show was the Summer Olympics. And the entire USA Olympic team had the identical Volt Green tennis
Wow.
shoes. Which,
Game
trendsetter.
Exactly. And that's what I love about that. And that's why I wanted you to kind of touch on that, because what we noticed when you guys came in is that, first of all, your family's awesome. And second of all, you guys definitely have a lot of personality, and love that you guys brought that to the table, because we think that's key when you're presenting yourself, especially at a trade show booth. So, um, you know, when you're there, you're trying to get business cards in people's hands that you can contact later. I think you guys also had wheelbarrows along with the product. They were filled with koozies to hand out. So there was a social element to that that worked really well. You were also came prepared with a hashtag for people to share as well. And so to maximize, you're there physically, but how do we maximize this experience by taking it online? I think that was super key as well. And again, the fact that you're there, you're the owners, and you're face to face and really getting to know, or starting to get to know, so that you can have conversations down the line. Those are all great components of going to a trade show. And so if there's any tips I could give, it'd be, demonstrate your personality, bring it to the table, especially the personality points that you've outlined in that initial strategy, right? The personalities that you want the brand to portray, which should reflect some of your personality as well. Show the overall vision. This is a great opportunity to say, this is who we are, this is what we stand for, this is our product lines, and demo those products. And then make those connections. You can't just stand there and hope for the best. You want to excite viewers. What I think is also great is that you took the opportunity to have some video screens there as well, which I think we shot with prototype. We weren't in manufacturing mode then. So taking what you have to get people excited about moving forward with the business. And so I think that was key as well. Like, not saying, hey, we have to wait till we get this made to show people what it can do. Make that initial prototype and make that video, that thing that gets people excited.
Well, we met pretty much every single one of our buyers at a trade show. And I will have to say that interactive aspect of, hey, would you like a koozie? And then being able to talk to them and get to know them and see if they are interested in our product was super instrumental into communicating with buyers, because buyers are pretty standoff. They're not going to just come. They have a schedule, they have a plan. So especially as a new product, you really need something to be able to draw a buyer into your booth. And the koozies you guys were able to make for us with our deconstructed logo really were phenomenal. And I just want to say, most booths go with the typical heights, the typical railing, but if you really dig deep and get creative, what you guys did, you can look and see their different height restrictions. Our booth was 2 feet taller than all the booths around us. In addition, you guys put the LED logo on top, so you could see our booth from the entrance. Right. So, and you saw it lit Burros. So it really caught people's eye, and get innovative with your booths. Like, you guys really took the rules and saw where it could apply to us and what we had to do.
Yeah, and being there and having those messaging points as well, right? Knowing what you're going to say, knowing what those key points are that you want to communicate, down to the tagline that you guys launched with, the all work, no hay. So again, personality, but it's also that conversation starter to what does that mean? Let me show you.
No. Well, I see a question here, and someone is asking, what are ways to interact with potential buyers if trade shows are on hold due to COVID? What are their alternatives right now to market yourself? This is a phenomenal question, because this is such an issue for our industry at large, the hardware industry, and pretty much any industry that thrives on live events or trade shows. So one, you can support the live events industry, and you can try and get them the help they need to pass and get financial support. So we would encourage to go look at the national trade show, see what they're doing and ways that you can help get involved. But to interact with buyers specifically, I will go to the buyer's website and look at the different live events that they will be hosting throughout the year. So most of the buyers who are not going to trade shows are now hosting Zoom buyers meetings, and you can partake in those. And I would also go and just look at, do your research on the Lowe's and Home Depot if you are in that industry or whatever industry you're aiming to get into, look at their websites and see their options. Everyone's pivoting.
Yeah.
Everyone's pivoting. So
yeah, and that's where those assets like the videos and stuff that you can quickly send and people can quickly get what you're trying to communicate come in as well.
Yeah, and buyers are paying attention to social media. So we talk to buyers through social media platforms sometimes too. So you just never know who's paying attention and who stumbles across something while looking through a garden hashtag. So I would just continue to keep up with your brand and keep putting your product out there. So
yeah, people have a lot more time to scroll through things right now. So if you can show up, that's great.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so going back to the questions, after getting feedback from our original little burro, we came to you with our second product. This was a really pivotal moment for us to make sure that we had a product that was new and interesting, yet still combined the feedback that we got from the first product and made it consistent with our brand. This is something you guys do a lot, is product brand extension, and we knew we could trust you guys with it. But you can go into what that process is kind of like and a little bit more about that.
Sure. So at this point, you've gone through all that process and you've actually come out with the original Little Burro. And so at that point, you're being asked to pivot a little bit. And that's really, it comes down to, that's the reason we did all of that hard strategy work in the beginning. It's because that is the overarching vision that's going to guide us no matter what direction, when COVID happens, that's what's guiding us. And so I think what was great about this, we'll call it opportunity, is that you guys did all that work. And so when that challenge came up, it was not, no, let's scrap everything. Let's say, hey, we had a goal, we were trying to accomplish it, and we're being asked to make a small tweak. And so how can we still accomplish our goal and do so in a way that just further supports what we actually are about? And I think you guys, and the team here, and you guys did that phenomenally by taking a look at the product and saying, all right, so this is what this product is for. What is essential? And so taking that feedback as an opportunity to improve some people's experience. And so what are those essentials that we can deliver at a great value in a great way, and then it still be supportive of our overall vision. And I think the Little Buddy is awesome in that way.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean, we can't compliment you guys enough. We would come back and say we want to make it way less. We want it to be really lightweight. You'd find engineering ways to make it still lightweight, yet handle the 30-pound digging bar on either side. The product itself, the Burro Buddy, weighs 3 pounds, yet it can still hold 2 30-pound digging bars basically on each side. So
yeah.
You guys were really able to take those essential elements and those features that we heard from customers were the most effective when saving time running back and forth in the yard, and still make them so user-friendly and easy for everyone to use. So.
Which really makes you guys even more innovative. And that's what, I mean, challenges are what spark innovation most of the time. And so we're really excited even during these COVID time where we're all trying to rethink and re-figure out how we're doing everything. But again, it's that opportunity to say, what is my vision and my purpose, and how do I pivot? And that's, I would suggest that everybody at this time take the opportunity to do so.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. Well, I think I have a couple more questions for Kurt, but Chris, this was
Uh,
so great
so
with
much
you.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so thank
appreciate
you
you having me.
for all the tips and advice you've been giving, and we can't wait to bring our next product to you guys.
Looking forward to it. I'll let Kurt come back.
Bye, Chris. All right, we're adding Kurt. Kurt back in. Kurt,
Hey, Molly.
welcome back.
Happy to be back. Yeah, that was really interesting to listen to. Loved hearing what Chris had to say there.
Yeah, Chris is amazing, by the way. We're so glad that he's on team with you guys, and we're really looking forward to meeting him in person when this is all over and we can bring you guys our next product.
Yep. Yeah, we decided to tag team it because I mean you know this now from working with us for so long, but we're a very collaborative team. We have experts in a lot of different areas. We're not just all wearing the same hat, and so we know one person doesn't usually have all the answers. We try to go to the source and get the right person. But Chris is our he joined us about a year ago at Bolt Group, and he's our creative director on the brand side. He comes with a lot of really good experience in your category with Lowe's, as well as other, lots of stuff around graphic design, brand identity, and user experience. We've actually known him at Bolt Group for a good while longer than that, and he's been working with us for a while. And he was around back when we did this project with you initially, so he's actually not a stranger to the little Burros, and we're really glad that he's decided to join us full time now, so we can really benefit from all of his expertise.
Yeah, he's very talented, so you guys are very lucky to have him on board.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Kurt, that being said, we're going to get back into this. When we came to you guys and said we want to create the Burrow Buddy, we had feedback, we want to get our second product, there was a huge battle with the color of the Burrow Buddy. You all wanted to go the dark Burrow blue, and we wanted to go the Burrow gray. And we love the color, but we're going to put in our Insta stories a quiz. Do you agree with the Bolt Group on Burrow blue, or do you like the little Burrows Burrow gray? So just to let everyone know that.
Yeah, hit that survey. I'm not sure if I agree with Bolt Group on this one. I think you guys made a great choice. It's a great question though, and it tells you a little bit about, I think, the truth about the design process is that designers don't know everything, certainly, and neither do engineers. No one person usually does. We tried, like I said, to have a collaborative approach, and one of the most important stakeholders in this process is you and your team, your family, the Thorsons. You guys are going to own this product. You're the ones that have the experience at the National Hardware Show, talking to the retailers, hearing what they have to say, seeing what they're attracted to and what gets attention. And you've also been selling the original Little Burrow now in the blue for a while. So you have really valuable experience that we absolutely don't discount or disregard. In fact, we try to explore that in addition to what projecting to you what our preferences and opinions are as consultants. So we do have strong opinions, but we know we're not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think your instincts there were just really spot on, because you recognized that you wanted to continue to stay within this great brand that we had built, but you wanted the product to have some fresh differentiators from the original Little Burrow. And that's it's a tricky balance to strike, but I think it was done really nicely. And by choosing a lighter color instead of the dark blue, I think it gave the product a really fresh look. It really I think by this time we were learning that you were getting the most traction in the gardening markets and the DIY market. And that, I think that the color scheme just works really great for that market. It feels like a great fresh spring product to take out into the garden. It feels good outside. It photographed really beautiful outside. And so I think that your instincts were spot on, and I'm glad that we weren't too pushy with that. I do have just so everyone can see, we're talking about the Burrow Buddy, the second product. The original Little Burrow did come out in the Burrow Blue, and I have an initial sketch of the Burro Buddy that we did in blue when we were trying to persuade you, and we liked the blue, but the actual color that it came out in, it's nice because it still works with our color palette. So we were able to use the exact same part for the lid and the parts for the tool grips, and so the color scheme fits in the family really nicely. But the lighter color product it just has a really nice fresh look, and it stands out at retail. So I think that good decision was made, and it just goes to show we don't know everything. We have to collaborate with you guys to get to the right solution.
Well, you guys do kind of know everything, because the exact color that we pulled that we liked for the Burro Buddy was actually the logo's colors. So we still use your guys' branding and deconstructed logo to be able to pull some of these colors that we previously used and subconsciously have been using, and be able to apply that to the new product. But I do understand you guys had a lot of good points behind it, UV resistant, but we were able to find a color that was just as UV resistant. Yep. We personally we have been to trade show after trade show after trade show, and we see it sitting on the product, and the wheelbarrow itself just really pops with the Burro Buddy on top of it. So we've seen the traditional blues, the blacks, the reds, the oranges, and those deeper hued colors as the primary color for wheelbarrows in the market. And we knew that with this lighter gray, that could really create a nice contrast and really differentiate, because we're not the wheelbarrow, we're the accessory. So we really loved that little battle, because it kind of made us challenge all these different, yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Design is a struggle sometimes, but you're just working together to make the product better. So I can remember even working through the sculpting, and you guys continue to push and challenge us to say, are we creating the most friendly and approachable design? Looking at early prototypes and saying, it's still a little too edgy, it's still a little too boxy. We want to really make this friendly looking. And you guys challenged us in the best way. And as designers, that's what we take to heart, and we want to get there together.
That's the great thing about Thorson family. We have so many opinions. There's so many of us. So we definitely made you guys work. So we appreciate you working with us. Getting back to some of these questions, we had the best time partnering with you guys to not only build the products, but the brand. So we have so many people asking us how to get started. Do you guys have any advice that you want inventors to take when they are starting to build their ideas, and any kind of cautionary tales in taking your idea and your branding and building it into a product?
Oh yeah, good question. Yeah, I think I could probably give you a few suggestions. And I know Chris and I were talking about this before the call, and he's got some ideas too. He made some points I think that are really good takeaways for folks that want to get into the product development and innovation business, that wanted, that might be entrepreneurs that have a great product. So Chris, if you're still hanging out, drop that little wisdom you shared in the chat, and I'll get into what I was thinking. Yes, here's Chris now. He's coming in, so we'll read what he's got to say. It says, start with a strong strategy. And that was what the fundamental to what he was saying earlier when talking about the pivot in terms of the product. And that's, I think that he also mentioned when we were chatting, you want to have a vision beyond just the first product. You really want to know, where are you going with this? Yeah. And what's the larger strategy? What is the goal here? So that you're always pushing towards that. You don't just get to the first product and say, what do we do now? You need to be able to project that vision, not just for your internal business so that you guys have the right motivation and direction, but it also helps, for retailers and for customers to say, I want to really be part of this brand because I like where they're going. Me, I'm an industrial designer by background, so I'm a tinkerer. I think I do often meet and talk to people who have new ideas, who have, learned something through their life that is sort of an aha, an insight that they see and can envision a solution to. And they'll sometimes ask me, do you think it's a good idea? And how do I go about doing it? And I usually ask them, well, have you tried it? What have you done so far? Tell me where you've gotten to. And I think that would be my advice to most entrepreneurs is do to the best of your ability, go ahead and make that idea, start it, try it, test out the concept. In fact, that's what you guys did even before you reached out to us. You knew that it wasn't just about writing down the idea on paper, that it was about testing it. Okay, let's see if I really have something here. I have a picture, and I hope this isn't embarrassing to anybody. I think it's quite brilliant. It's the original cardboard prototype of the little burro. So you can see it's come a long way, and there's a lot of things that are different about it. But the fundamental idea, the innovation of kind of converting your wheelbarrow into this utility cart is there. It's in that idea. And Bob and your family had the brilliance of, let's just make it. What do we have on hand? We've got cardboard, we've got duct tape. Let's slap this together. Try your idea, test it, get feedback from people that you trust. And then when you can't carry it any further, you've exhausted your own abilities, in terms of engineering and design. That's the time to try to find a partner or partners that you trust, that share your vision, they see where you want to go and they can help you get there. We certainly, when you guys reached out to us with this cardboard box and this brilliant idea, I think we connected on the idea, but we also sort of shared a lot about the overall vision, this mentality of service that you guys had and were bringing to the project. And I think we knew that we could have a working relationship that was going to go well over the years, not just for the first product.
And for clarification, over the years, it's 7 years that we've been working with you.
Yeah.
So that's a long relationship and a working relationship. We're so grateful that you guys were with us from the very beginning. We can't even imagine if we went to a different design and engineering team. And we're so grateful we were able to keep that relationship going and build out this product extension line. And we're looking forward to the next years coming.
Well, we're really grateful too. It's been an awesome ride, and just to see your success over the years has been thrilling for us, and really rewarding to see our designs. You're carrying our designs out into the world and doing a beautiful job with it. And we couldn't be more proud of the success you've had. And yeah, I remember the very first meeting and seeing the cardboard box and meeting your family all the way through, the new products, the revisions, the battles, as you've described, the challenges. But it's been really fulfilling. And, what's fulfilling for us, our business is a little bit unique because we do product development and engineering, and we also do brand identity development, packaging, and strategy that's associated with that, with the brand component of the product. And you guys really did. You had great ideas for both the brand and the product, but you needed help to bring them together, to bring them to fruition together. And that's for us as designers, we love that. We get to be at the genesis of the brand and the genesis of the product. So we knew we could, with our different experts in our business, we could really come together, come out with a vision, a product that really felt holistic and cohesive in terms of both product and brand. So that's why I think it was such a good fit as well.
Well, we are so grateful for you guys, and we have about a minute remaining. So can you guys let us know what your website is and where people can get in contact with you guys if they want to start building their product?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can visit boltgroup.com. And you can check out, we have our website has currently got 2 sides to it. So you can check out the product side as well as the brand side of our business. And you can click on work at the top to see case studies. You'll find little burros in both the product case studies and the brand case studies, because we did get involved on both sides of that program. But you'll see a lot of other case studies of work we've done. And if you're interested in getting your product developed and you want to hear more, just reach on out to us.
Yeah, and we can't speak highly enough of Bolt Group. We encourage you to go follow them on Instagram because we enjoy seeing their daily uploads of innovative ideas and new brands that they're working with. So, Kurt, thank you so much for your time today, and for Chris for joining us. We love you guys. We love having this conversation. This is like family to us. So we just love talking with you guys and being able to listen to all your great advice.
Well, thank you so much, Molly. It was great to see you again, hear from you, and good to see Bob there for a second. Yeah, can't wait to work on you guys on the next project.
Well, we'll be coming to you soon. So,
Awesome.
all right. Well, thank you.
Bye. Thanks everybody for your comments and questions.
Bye.